Different, don't get bad. High difference of my winning. Show do good, not that swing. Yeah, I got nice vision.
Sean here, and here is how we get Chancey Poo on the radar, or maybe have the state involved easily. There are enough of us that would sign a petition, that would write statements, a lot of us who would maybe go a little bit further. Nothing illegal, no lies, only the truth. You'd have to go to the detectives, obviously, and I'll get to the scenario in a minute. You have to go to the detectives, county attorney, city attorney, it doesn't matter who. Just someone that is going to listen. At least one of them will be looking to make a name for themselves. There's another way to do that, but I'll get into it after this. You can only get certain people involved once there's a little bit more fame involved. We need somebody with HTML skills, some JavaScript, someone who'd be willing to listen to this little goblin ramble, tell his lies, go mental, go ham, whatever. But you approach him and tell him you want to do a proof of concept. You initially were going to be involved in the LolCow podcast, but it wasn't what you were looking for. It wasn't what the studio was looking for. All you'd have to do is find a small random studio out there. Although the problem is if you use a real studio name, this little goblin is not smart, but he is desperate. And he would be out there researching what is the email. You know how rambly he gets when asking these questions. What's the email for, not Lionsgate, but you know what I mean, Lionsgate Studios. And he'd email the general, my name's Chance, I'm going to be on your network soon. I need some money. Can you guys loan me some? We do not want to cease and desist. Anyway, JavaScript, HTML, you make a fake website. And the reason that is important is back when websites were becoming the thing to do for pretty much everybody, including small businesses, having a slick website. You saw those commercials about GoDaddy and everything else. That was when they were really pushing this hard. And one of the things that I remember, because I was a consultant, which really just meant I did some side work for small websites for a friend of mine. Anyway, story short is one of the things they almost always wanted was a counter that could be controlled that would start at a certain number. You create a JavaScript site, you have him record all his rambling videos for this proof of concept, this pilot, and the target's 50,000 viewers, but you couldn't go straight to 50,000. You'd have to maybe 2 to 3 months, and then gradually you change that number. Gradually. You could even, when he sends you his videos, you could edit them however you wanted, and you could play them in that bullcrap littlegoblin.com. I'm just throwing that. It's a made-up name. That wouldn't be it. But you'd put it on the website, and you'd have fake views, and you'd have fake follower numbers too, right? You could just change this whenever you wanted. Just update the page. I think you can even edit them directly online. So anyway, the long and short is he'd be sending you these videos. Now you could thankfully tell him, look, I need one video a day talking about your day. And this would be grand. Have him talk about his day, about all the big boss moves, yo boy. Every time he says your boy, you know he's lying, but you have him put out big boss moves, what he's doing for the day. You edit it, put it up on the website. You give it a bullshit amount of views. You give it over 50,000 views, and you could even make the subscriber number, the follower number 50,000. Whatever you chose. There's a lot more smart people out there than me. But you make him think. You make him believe that all of this is real and it's all coming to fruition. Now, during that time, you also have you could even create a forum, a free message board, right? And you could have a bunch of us go on there. But what you would want to do is all the usernames would have to have their ages beside them, right? You'd have, Bob Johnson, 42, in a fake city. Or you could have Bob, 42, fake city. No last names, because he'd be on Facebook. Look at them all up and trying to contact him. Hey, I just want to let you know I appreciate you're a big fan. But Kira, 16. Jenny, 15. All of these girls simply posting, "Oh, this was pretty funny. I really enjoy your videos." How long do you think it would take before this little goblin would use his quote-unquote fame to reach out to these young girls? Now, I know that Ohio has a no sting, probably because all their officials don't want to get caught, Conrad, on To Catch a Predator. But you get overwhelming evidence. All you have to do is say that the girl has only one parent and they're working all the time and they don't even pay attention to them, so they basically have free reign to do whatever they want. How long do you think that would take for Chance to say, "Oh, I'll come live in your basement. I'll make you famous"? But anyway, it'd be, "Hi, I'm Jenny. Hey, here's a wang pic." Now, I know a lot of you may have already said, this will never work. But if he does this with more than one girl, which we know he will, if he does this with more than one girl, you have all of the evidence you need. And all you have to do is put it together, because you would have access to all the .com emails. I guess I should have said that first. littlegoblin.com. Bill at littlegoblin.com. Not N-word, boy, but you know what I mean. Scotty at littlegoblin.com. And we would definitely want to avoid, unless we absolutely had to, having a female producer. Because, you know what? It depends on if you want this to work or you just want content. You have a female producer, and Chance in his private conversations would be trying his best to start some kind of sexual relationship. Anyway, you get all this set up. And finally, after 3 months, you hit the number of views. Chance is celebrating. He's going to get paid finally. They're going to get a bonus for signing. And then the big reveal. But in the meantime, you've gotten all the records of him contacting all of those girls, because there are going to be numerous. You put it together in a package. All the statements. All the petition. And you make whoever does these investigations pay attention. And you show all of the evidence that he's done this in the past. Point out that he is abusive to any woman who ever lives in his house. Sally, Heather, or Kira, whoever. But he's abusive mentally, verbally, and he's unhinged. He's psychotic. He has no job. He has no plans on ever getting a job. And him on the streets would be a menace. He'd be the guy in a trench coat running around flashing people of all ages. "Baby, you look like my grandma. Oh, baby, now let's make love tonight." You know, the hearts around her face and the song. Anyway, moving on. We put all this together. As I've stated, if this was my state, this little goblin would be in serious trouble. But it's not. It's Ohio. You'd have to find somebody, preferably somebody young. You don't want one of these old grizzled veterans unless they're desperate. But somebody who wants to make a name. And if someone was so inclined, they could carry the evidence and say, "I'm a concerned citizen. This is what this guy is doing." Luckily, it was just us trying to get you could even say we were really trying to get a reality show, and we didn't want Chance to know because we wanted the content to be genuine. We wanted to, but after seeing everything he did, we didn't want to turn it in we didn't want to give him a bigger platform. We wanted to bring this to somebody's attention, that this is his nature. This is what he does. You don't have to tell him this is just for a prank or content or trolling. Because in reality, if you did this and somebody wanted to pick it up, man, send all the money to charity. Make sure Chance gets none of it. The promise of big boss moves and money will keep him going. Especially if he's seeing the progress of the number of followers, and the messages each week could be, a weekly basis. You have a weekly recap of all the messages you read to Chance, the emails that you're getting. "Chance, would you like these emails? You could do this. Chance, here's the emails we got. We got Bobby, 35, from Seattle. Love it. We've got Monica, 15, from Tennessee. I really like your show. I think you're going to be a great musician. Chance, here's all the email addresses if you want to email them and say thank you." How long do you think, who would he pick first? Joe from Seattle or Monica from Tennessee? I think we know. Anyway, all you have to do is give him a little bit of bait. He's going to jump on the hook and he's going to go crazy. So we contact them. We let them know. We make sure that somebody sees it and that we have regular correspondence. And that we stress that we are concerned citizens. We are not just trolling. This guy's a menace. He's been a menace. Here's all of the information you need. And if they receive it, they have probable cause. They can do the sting. They can do whatever they want. I don't know if joining the Facebook group would be enough. It would have to, the chat rooms. You know what? They could. Because if you could do a chat room and fake sign up, you can do Facebook and fake sign up. Although, you know what? They'd be breaking the chat room's terms of service, so they'd be breaking Facebook's terms of service. Parallels. And if they refuse to do anything, we have an ace in the hole. Chris, motherfucking Bender Boys right on the back, Hansen. He's done this before. And with enough people interested, with enough people concerned, showing Chris, because I genuinely feel like he hates this stuff. He's not doing it just for clicks and views, which turns into money. N-word boy is a cajillionaire off me. Contact Chris Hansen with all of our names, all of our concern, and we say, look, we need someone to get involved. They are not doing anything about this. This guy is probably going to be homeless or go to a group home, and he's going to have access to women. And if he has access to the internet and he has no monitoring, no Sally, no authority figure, he's going to go crazy. And hopefully Chris will do what he's done in the past with semi-famous people who have been trolled and lolcows, whoever, predators. Imagine Chris taking on Cyraxx and the buzz that would get. Because it wouldn't necessarily be us. It would be like Boogie, Wings. Man, did you guys see this thing on Cyraxx, man? Woo! He may be busted. Chris Hansen's going after him. Or Chris Hansen's going to do an interview with him. I just feel like it wouldn't take very much. And the fake proof of concept, all that would give us content for sure. But Chance would use that opportunity as he thinks he's growing and getting more famous to reach out to younger, basically kids. Not just teenagers, because I still see him as kids. I believe he would use the term teenager as some kind of defense. Well, they weren't kids. They were middle schoolers and high schoolers. So anyway, I was rambling a little bit. I just wanted to reason this out. And if somebody wanted to do something like this, not music, you know what? It'd also be great to have him record his music and show those videos how he's a big boss move producer. Remember, I'm making all this music, I'm working on my artwork all day long, except I just said that I watch TV and movies all day long, play video games, and hang out with my friends. Notice there's never take care of my grandma in there. As Lauren says, he has to take care of his mother and leech her money, take her vehicles, never do crap to help her, pray to God, go in denial that she's ever going to die. Have someone ask him for content, do an interview. I mean, I as most of you know, I did interviews for 15 years, 7 years, Marty. 15 years where you can find them on the internet. You can find them on, I think on YouTube. There's some maybe on some of the sites I've written for. But you can ask him real questions. Even if you just look up a standard interview format, you could ask him famous questions. You could ask him about the controversy. You could ask him, do you want to really set the record straight on this and this and this? See if his story changes. But you could get him into this world. You could get him into this delusion. And no matter how many times Sally says, Chance, they're trolling you. No, Mom, this is my chance to finally be famous. So anyway, if someone does something like that, all they have to mention is a girl's name and her age. Because posting on the message board, on your own fake message board, or those fake emails that the producer receives, he would reach out to them first and it would start. You don't bust him right away. you don't let him know you're busting him right away. You let him cook. Let him do all of this. Let him get all the evidence out there, put it together, make somebody notice. That's just my idea. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Different, don't get bad. High difference of my winning. Shoulder gun outside swinging. Yeah, I got night vision. All my family, all my brothers.